Hey there, welcome to the Made to Pray podcast,
where we believe you and I were made to pray.
Hey there, welcome to the Made to Pray podcast. I'm your co-host Karrilee, and I'm here with Lori.
Hello.
And this is episode 2. So we hope that you have listened to our introduction when we first launched the podcast, which was yesterday, so you can find it really easily. But today we're just going to do another mini episode and give you just a brief background of each of us so you kind of know the hosts, so you have a little bit of a better idea of who we are. Lori and I are both talkers. So we could talk, not necessarily about ourselves, but we could talk for a long time. So I'm going to just give you a brief background of who I am. And then Lori will do the same and we'll go from there. But we are fully aware that as the podcast goes, you will get to know us better and better. And hopefully we will get to know you. And we'll talk about that more later. But my name is Karrilee. And for all of my childhood and a chunk of my adult years, I went by Carrie, which is why you'll hear Lori call me Carrie, because she's known me since before I went back to my given name. God told me years ago that he named me on purpose, and he showed me the meaning of my name, which it's an Aboriginal name, and it means the resting place beside still waters. So I kind of love that. So I changed my name back to my given name, which is Karrilee, but people who've known me a long time call me Carrie. So just to clear up any confusion. So I was not a Christian until I was 21. But ever since then, some 30 years now, again, we're not talking about it. I've been all in with Jesus. I fell in love with Jesus and my husband, Dave, at the same time. They're an awful lot alike, which is very nice. We have one all grown up girly who now has a little girly of her own. I was a wife and a stay-at-home mom with time to pray for most of my adulthood. I also have been, or still am, a writer, a podcaster, an artist, a photographer, a pastor, intercessor, mother, sister, daughter, friend, and Mimi. But the most important title that I have is that I'm his. Currently, I help take care of our granddaughter, and I work in real estate as an administrative assistant. So the time set aside for prayer isn't quite as abundant as in seasons past. However, I still pray throughout my day, and God seems to be prone to wake me up at 3 a.m. But we'll get into that in another episode. So that's just a real quick snapshot into who I am. As I said, we'll get to know each other better as the podcast goes on. But that's me in a nutshell. How about you, Lori?
So I'm Lori, and a little bit about me is I am married to my wonderful husband. I have a beautiful daughter, and we have a son-in-law, or a son-in-love, as I like to call him. Our daughter's been married 3 years now. And a little bit about me in my faith journey, or as I was saved at a young age, probably 6 or 7, and was introduced to the Lord by my grandma and my aunt. And then my grandparents did pastor a church when I was young. And then just over the journey, I have just continued to serve the Lord and began to have a passion just to live my life that way for the rest of my life. And maybe going forward in the journey of the time we're together, I'll be able to unpack some more details along the way of that. But I was plugged into a youth group that really had formative effect on my life. The youth pastors just were fantastic people and just deepened that connection for me with the Lord. And then my husband and I were married at a young age. I was 19, he was 20. And then shortly thereafter, we became involved in a ministry, pretty much, just fully engaged in that ministry. And that was very formative also to my prayer life. The pastors that we had were anointed for worship and prayer, and they began to teach us about the waiting and the knowing the Lord. And the power of prayer was introduced to me on another level. And then from that point, I really got involved in the ministry and the prayer ministry, and we would have noon prayer, night prayer, 24-hour prayer. And that just kind of was something that became a part of who I was. And we were a part of that ministry for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so in the season of change, but it's always just been a part of who I am. And I think really that what has got me through a lot of seasons in my life is the foundation of how I learned how to know or spend time with the Lord through those hard years. And so I don't have all the fancy, wonderful titles as Carrie does. Our daughter was very involved in competitive sports, and my husband coached, and there was a season that was our life, and ministry looked different in the fact that, you know, we were building relationships with young people that we were connected to in that world, and kind of investing in that generation. And so that is just kind of a brief synopsis of who I am. But I love prayer. I love the opportunities of gathering people to pray. And I think that that's probably good for right now.
Yeah, that's great. Lori and I both are moms to only daughters. Her daughter is 6 months younger than mine and was in the grade below my daughter. And so a lot of our years praying together, we're praying for our girls. And we actually met Lori and her family when they were involved with that ministry where she learned about prayer at that church we had gone, and kind of met them there, although we didn't super connect until several years later at a different church. But once we really connected, we were kind of kindred spirits, and prayer is a big part of both of our lives. And, you know, for some people that's maybe like your last resort. For us, it's our first response is to, you know, even as someone's talking to us, we're already praying under our breath most of the time. So we consider, you know, being able to pray. I know Lori was involved, like she said, in the prayer ministry at that church. And when my husband and I helped pastor a church, I got to pray consistently almost every Sunday after worship to kind of transition, and being able to pray corporately is just super fun, and just to really, I mean, we just loved being able to do that and to encourage people to linger a little bit and to actually acknowledge his presence and hear him, because he's always speaking to us. But you know, some of our other favorite times of prayer has just been when we encounter God, whether we're with a small group praying, or we're, you know, just one-on-one, or just, you know, as I mentioned earlier, by ourselves on the couch at 3 a.m. So we'll tap into all of those things, and we'll really touch on different seasons in our life where we have prayed and where we have seen answers, where we've heard the Lord, seasons where we've asked and listened and it hasn't turned out the way we wanted, because this is real life. But whether the answer is yes or no or wait, we know he's always near, and he always wants to hear us pray. So that's just a little bit about us, so you kind of have an idea of who we are. I will say, if you haven't picked up on it already, we're both kind of crazy faith prayers. We believe in the word. We believe in the red parts of the Bible. We believe in being spirit-led. We believe that miracles and healings and resurrections can still happen today, and we want to see them happen more and more. We believe in the power of agreement, of decreeing and declaring. And if you know what that is and you agree, you're saying amen. If that sounds confusing, don't worry, we'll explain it. So that's it. Until next time, have a great day. Next time, by the way, guys, will be tomorrow because we're releasing these mini episodes all in a row to kind of whet your appetite. So we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.